And we live. Hey, welcome to another episode of
Sure,
Easy
mate.
Sports. And today I'm joined by a man who's breaking his virginity as far as uh being on the show for the first time. Tanashi. Us those
How's it, my brother?
final.
How you doing, mate?
I'm easy, man. How you feeling, bro, being an Arsenal fan? Before we even jump onto the rugby, like how are you feeling? You know, but you guys, ish, you
Yeah,
did the
man.
Lord's work against us.
Yeah, man. It's a bit of a roller coaster at the moment because it doesn't seem like I just experiments are clicking at the moment.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I just I mean, it's brought us this far, so all we can really do is to trust the guy.
yeah.
But yeah, I think one or two things, not really, but probably. I just hope we don't find out too late. It could be a case of square pegs and round holes, especially with that Kai Havertz chap. But
Yeah.
yeah, but let's hope something. Yeah, let's hope
Yeah.
something clicks eventually. Let's hope something clicks eventually.
I know, no doubt, man. Hey, it's for me as a United fan, it is what it is. I won't say we deserve to win on Sunday, but yeah, man, it's you've seen
Uh,
what's going on with my club. But anyway, let's segue to the winning team, and it's of course the mighty
sure.
Springboks. Tomorrow Ziaduma. I mean, it's gonna be uh
Yeah,
of course opening fixture being New Zealand versus France. So it's actually France versus New Zealand,
fun.
it's
Yeah.
the other way around. And before we even start with the fixtures, I just wanted us to have just a side discussion as far as I'm not too sure if you heard SABC not too long ago, just maybe 2 hours ago, finally have agreed with Multichoice as to, getting the rights to the Rugby World Cup. And of course, on my end this morning, I was listening to 702, the Clement Magnatella show, and he was talking about how um,
Mm.
SABC, like how they've managed the situation of acquiring um, rights from MultiChoice and how poor they've been. Like, I just wanna get your opinion as to, you know, God forbid, hypothetically speaking, if SABC didn't acquire the rights, man, what would you have felt if you were a South African who, of course, doesn't have DSTV? Would you think it's fair for multi-choice not to even, spare thoughts, especially the Springbok games? Yeah, well,
You
yeah,
know, it's a bit of a it's a catch-22 situation for me, really, because at the end of the day,
yeah,
multi-choice will tell you that I mean they need to balance the books. I mean they're not getting
yeah,
those rights for free, right? That's the
yeah.
commercial side of things that we probably need to understand to a certain extent. But then there's
Hmm.
also, rugby for what it has become in South Africa, for what Sia Kolisi now stands for, and what he symbolizes. Rugby in South Africa has really become sort of like one of those national goods, one of those things that just brings the country together, regardless of race, creed, religion, or whatever. And
Yeah.
when you look at that, then you try and see if a balance can be struck between the two. So to answer your question more directly, I would have been quite aggrieved if I was one of those South Africans who didn't have DSTV and was never afforded the opportunity to watch the game. Because I mean, at the end of the day, um, for what the group, when you look at stories, for example, I'll just touch on two individuals. When you look at Magazole Mapimpi's story, when you look at Sia Kolisi's story,
Yes. Mm.
those are stories that are you know very, very true. Those are stories that ring far and wide, especially in rural South Africa, and those are beacons of hope. You know what I mean? Those are, that's I mean all the time, whether it's said just for semantics or whatever, but you hear each and every sports person telling you, "I want to inspire the next generation," and those two for me really represent, sort of like. a lot of hope for a lot of youngsters out there who are probably growing up in poverty and looking at these guys and be like, I want to be like this guy. I want to be disciplined. At the end of the day, sports really molds an individual into, into being disciplined, honing your craft, and the like. So, national goods over the commercial benefits, but but I'm glad a balance has been struck. I read somewhere that it's about 16 games,
Yeah,
two in the quarterfinals, one semi, I think the third place playoff, closing ceremony, the final, all the Springbok games, which is a fair chunk of those games. So I'm glad at least.
yeah, no, indeed. In fact, I'm also glad because I was also a bit concerned as to why at the 11th hour are we having these sort of discussions? Why couldn't this be, sorted out well before even this year begins? Because we all know that from a rugby standpoint, we always are one of the favorites. We are pretty much especially when it comes to world the globe rather, we are the one of the leaders in this tournament. We've won it 3 times. We level with New Zealand, and I'm just baffled as to why the SABC took so long, to even strike a deal with multi-choice. But you know I'm just glad that everything is sorted out because this was a very burning topic. A lot of people calling in, especially on um, 702 and even on Twitter, just having discussions as to why SABC hasn't strike a deal with multi-choice. And as well, man, you've just mentioned such a very powerful statement about Makazole Mapimpi, as well as our captain Usia Kolisi. Them, of course, being individuals who, come from humble beginnings, and uh, they, of course, it's just wouldn't be cool for people who come from similar backgrounds to not be able to be inspired. Because I, for one, was just thinking of that, like the next generation, because majority of the people in our country, unfortunately, don't have that access of being able to watch rugby. And as well, another thing that also bores me up with multi-choice. I mean, if you're a compact subscriber as well, you won't be able to watch the rugby because rugby is only for premium subscribers. And I mean, that's like 600 Rand more. So for me, that as well is something that I just feel, yes, I know multi-choice are profit driven at the end of the day, but man, at least Springbok games, man, just for us, as a nation, because of course, Tina, you and me, we have access to watching the rugby, but I'm just thinking of the masses. It would be cool for each and every person, to be able to watch the Springbok games, and so happy that at least now that has been sorted. Now we can just move forward
Yeah.
and see what turns out, and of course, us moving forward, I mean also us in our conversation, um tomorrow's game, France versus New Zealand, man. Let me just quickly share the squads. I just want us to get to it, because we are a bit pressed for time. Just let me just quickly share my screen. Please advise if you can see on your end. um Yeah, man. So we'll start off with the All Blacks, being seeming that this is a team that is our rival more than anything. We know more about them more than the French. This is the starting 15 against New Zealand.
Hmm.
What's your thoughts? Do you think the loss to the Springboks was just a fluke, or is it a test to show Guti New Zealand can be, put to the sword?
You know what? Okay, the loss,
Mm.
the loss definitely wasn't a fluke. Um, the
It wasn't.
Springboks came with
Hey,
their A game. Nah, nah,
I
nah.
know.
The Springboks came with their A game in that game. You know,
Yeah.
I need to, yeah. Okay, just that. Okay, I'm gonna digress for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Because we're
may.
gonna be speaking about New Zealand here,
Yeah.
the box showed what I would term evolution. Evolution in the sense that they were not overly reliant on their game plan, or rather, let me say their old school game plan, the one that won them the
Yeah.
last World Cup, which is the box kicking off
Yeah.
nine, box kicking off second phase, box kicking off 10, or the general kicking off 10 for territory. These guys
Yeah.
really locked New Zealand down in their half, if not even, I dare go as far as saying in their 22 for their for the first 17 minutes of that game. That I
Yeah.
mean, even if you're a cameraman, you could have just panned your camera into the 22 of the All Blacks and just
Yeah.
gone just and had a
Yeah.
coffee. You were not gonna miss anything that happened in the area. But then again,
Yeah.
back to the squad.
Yeah.
New Zealand squad. Um, I saw a couple of, Brody Retallick is not in that squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. I should have done my homework. I don't know if he's got a niggle. But
Hmm.
last time he missed the game, it was because of his knee, I think.
Mm.
So 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 it could be that because Brody Retallick really is the engine room of the All Blacks. But in general, the squad as it is, nothing new. A lot was to be
Hmm.
expected. I'm kind of shocked. Anton Brown is
Yeah.
back in the centers. Um, I would have, yeah, I would have thought maybe Geordie would have
Yeah.
stayed in that position, but clearly not because I think he offers a lot in terms of kicking as well. Something that Anton doesn't. Although I know Anton can kick a very good grubber himself. But the squad as it is, I mean, the All Blacks never have a drop in quality, no matter who they bring onto the squad. They really
Yep.
never have a drop in quality. And any All Black squad that you play against is always going to be fighting for that black jersey. And they take a lot of pride in that. It doesn't matter who runs onto the field on that day. So I still think it's a good squad. However, I'm going to answer a question that you haven't asked me. I think
Yeah.
the
Which one?
French, I really, I think the French are gonna pull a number on these guys. I see a lot of people saying New Zealand is gonna beat the French.
Eh.
It's fine, it's fine. Yeah, yeah. But you know what? When you look at the French, my guy, ah
Yeah.
man,
Let's look at the French.
man,
Yeah. Let me just quickly share my screen. Yeah. Let me just quickly just go
yeah.
to the French.
Uh,
Please bear with me, man. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
no problem.
To be honest
I
with
think
you,
there's
man,
about
I
four
won't
players
say.
missing in that French squad, but um,
Yeah.
but I still think they're gonna pull a because those French forwards are mobile. Those guys
Yeah.
move about the pitch. They are, breakdown situation. These guys are slowing
Yeah.
ball down. These guys are everywhere, man. These guys are like hound dogs. And
Yeah.
to have such big mobile guys is a rare thing. I mean, South Africans forwards are also fairly mobile, but I mean, we we normally, I think, as a country, South Africa would rather sacrifice mobility for size because of the
Yeah.
physicality of the game up front. So you'd rather really have a big guy that can get you over the game line. That's just typical South African rugby, really, and that DNA is still there in our game. But the
Yeah.
French, where they got these human beings, how they, and to be honest, it's been bubbling under. I mean, this most of these
Yeah.
players won the under 20
Yeah.
Rugby World Cup 3 years ago. So they've been
Yes.
groomed for this particular tournament. To be honest with
Mm.
you, and it's gonna be fireworks. I think the French are gonna take it.
Wow, dude, are you for real, dog? Because for me, the only person who I know here is Antoine Dupont, the captain. As the yeah Dupont. And of course there's the inside center, man. He's injured, man. The big, I forgot his name, man. His name
Yeah, yeah,
keeps
yeah.
leaving me, man. Yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah. But
there's
like,
a there's a guy
mhm,
called Danny. There's a guy called Willemse. There's four key players that are injured. But I mean, when you're
yeah,
replacing the centers, when you look at a guy like Fiku, this guy's been to three
yeah,
World Cups, I think, and he's done it.
yeah,
He's yeah. I mean, Fiku is a good guy to have in the middle. You have the fullback
yeah,
there. That guy never misses a kick. So he's a
yeah.
points
Hey,
machine,
that's it.
and I mean, in a knockout
Yeah,
tournament, in in a knockout tournament, you need to keep the scoreboard ticking. So yeah,
yeah.
it's a good
So
squad overall. It's a good squad.
no, no, it is. So now, where do you think the game will be won for the French?
That's a very good question. I think for the
Yeah.
French,
Mm,
if if the French are smart, it's just that it's not very wise to try and switch your tactics up 2 weeks before the start of the World Cup. But if those guys can emulate what the Springboks did up front with the
mm,
forwards, so what South Africa did was to keep it tight. Number one,
yeah.
dashing over, um, short passes, uh, pick and goes, not a lot,
Yeah.
but obviously, when you're in the 22, you can always take your
Yeah.
chance. But just quick pop passes from the base to the forwards, keeping possession. If you
Yeah.
suffocate New Zealand, because New Zealand are the best, probably them in Ireland, probably best
Mhm.
backlines in the world right now.
Yeah.
If you suffocate the
100%.
ball, if you do not give them the ball, if you do not make the mistake of kicking to them, do not make the
Mm.
mistake of fumbling the ball in contact and then it becomes
Yeah.
open play. Because New Zealand will thrive in
Yeah.
situations where there's no structure because there's just always a support runner somewhere.
Yeah.
Denkos will be right there with you, even. They've got very
Dude.
fast forwards as well. So
Yeah.
I would say for the French, starve them the ball. The forwards need to really grunt. The forwards are going to be very, very, very sore come Saturday morning. I think that's the best way to beat New Zealand because really, I mean, without ball, what are they going to do?
Mhm. Damn. You actually do make a valid point there, man. I mean, I'm sure the French are watching the tape, like, between the Springboks and New Zealand, because I do think even with the French, they are more than capable to even go all the way, bruh. They're at home. They've also have a decent record against New Zealand. It's not like they've never beaten New Zealand before in the World Cup. They've done it
Mm,
on
mm,
numerous
mm,
occasions. So
mhm.
for that, that should also spur them on
Yes.
to push and fight. So yeah, man, like, it's just for me, um being a person who watches Southern Hemisphere rugby way more than I watch the rugby in the north. I'm leaning towards New Zealand
Mhm.
only because my knowledge of the French isn't as great as it should be. In the past, man, especially when I still played rugby on PlayStation, I used to know every single player, especially in these top teams. But unfortunately, I
Mm.
EA Sports hasn't made a dope rugby game since 2008. So I mean, it would be nice if they could make one for
Yeah,
PS5,
yeah.
and just reignite the sport that we both love. So yeah, I'm leaning towards New Zealand, and of course, I won't say it's gonna be an easy game for them. This is gonna be a very, very physical game and a very tough,
Mm.
close match. It's gonna go down to the wire. It will go down to who's the most disciplined team, in my opinion. The team that is more disciplined will
Yeah,
most
true,
probably
true.
win the encounter. And of course, whoever loses here, there's a high possibility we'll play against them in the quarterfinal. So yeah, man. Who would you wanna verse in the quarters, New Zealand or France?
Uh, just
That
because we know them, New
yeah.
Zealand, just because
And look,
we are familiar with them,
mm,
and also we now
yeah,
have the psychological edge over them
yeah,
because you don't want to play the French, especially if they're on a roll, and especially if the
yeah,
French beat New Zealand.
yeah,
I don't think anyone wants to face the French after that. But
yeah.
just because probably we have that psychological edge, we've done a number on them. I mean, record loss
Hmm.
to us, and also the fact that New Zealand doesn't really change things up. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Well, they did. I mean, if you look at how they beat us in Auckland,
Hmm.
they kicked more than us.
Yeah. They
To
were
be
playing
honest,
up and unders.
in
Yeah.
Auckland,
High balls. Yeah.
yes, but their kicks were fantastic. Talia under the high ball was immense
Uh,
for such a
yo,
small guy.
bro.
He
Yeah.
was quite good, and that's probably because obviously, I mean, with South Africa's rush defense,
Yeah.
you're gonna leave spaces in behind. So if
Yeah.
you can just pop over them all the time, you're always gonna
Yeah.
have space to exploit. But the
Mm.
kicks need to be contestable, obviously. So,
Yeah.
like I'm saying, if you start New Zealand the ball, and and just to touch on the point that you also expressed that I didn't mention, New Zealand seem to lack discipline when they're under the
Yeah.
cosh.
Hey. Yeah.
Um,
You saw what homeboy did.
so that's another thing. Yeah.
Mm.
So probably, yeah. I'd really rather face New Zealand. I hope we meet them in the quarterfinals. I hope we can beat them because that then becomes a statement to whoever we meet in the semis.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I cool. Of course, I just want to also just share the pools. I mean, we've touched on for me the two teams I feel will win, will advance in New Zealand and France. But do you think there'll be any surprises from Italy, Namibia, and Uruguay, in your opinion?
Mm, nah, nah. You
It's
know what?
okay, Brad,
You know what,
to
X?
say these
You know what?
teams are small.
I'll be.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
a
what?
good.
I
Yeah,
will be. I'll be. I'll be brutally honest with you. Um,
yeah.
I, I
Mhm.
am personally going to take a little bit of my hard-earned money
Yeah.
and go for all the little possible upsets that are there. And
Mm.
to anybody who's watching, and to anybody who's watching, please do yourself a favor. Probably do that. When Italy face France, when Italy face New Zealand, Uruguay, Namibia, when that nonsense happens, just take a little bit of your money. Uh,
Yeah.
even Tonga, Romania, when you look at
Yeah.
those guys, when you look at teams like the
Fiji.
Fiji,
Hey, but Fiji
Fiji,
are not a small
Australia,
team though.
Fiji, Wales.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to give betting advice.
Yeah. I know. Give your betting
You know
advice,
what?
King.
Oh, each and every each and every tournament. For
Yeah.
example, Soccer World Cup, you're the Morocco, you're the Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia beating Argentina. Imagine if you put
100%.
money on that.
Ish.
2015 Japan World Cup. First game, I think, was it the
Yeah.
Springboks, where the Boks were beaten. Who would have
Oh
thought?
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, every tournament has one upset or two upsets.
Hmm.
And to be honest with you, what I've seen as a trend, especially in rugby, actually, and even in cricket, the smaller nations have been given support, and the gap has kind of
Yeah.
reduced. Of course, the elite teams are still elite. I mean,
Yeah.
you always have tier one teams, tier two teams, tier three teams, but
Yes.
the gap has reduced. I mean, look at Bangladesh in cricket. Very few
Yeah.
people would bet against Bangladesh in a T20 tournament or even an ODI
Mm.
tournament.
I know
So,
they can
so
fight now. They got Bob up, bruh.
mm,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So I'm just saying, a little bit of Samoa in there, you know what I mean? A little bit of
Yeah,
Japan, for example.
yeah,
Japan versus
exactly.
England, Japan versus Argentina. Yeah.
Just put
Um,
in
um,
money there.
yeah. just just fake 100 rand yakho nje, then
Yeah,
ungazitholela 2.5, ungazitholela
yes, dude.
u-10,000, who knows?
Who knows? Gee, I know you're right, dog. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I fully agree with you, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's move over to Pool B, man. Of course, Pool B's got us and
Mm,
the Irish, bro. Like, and the
yeah.
Scottish. Oh man, like our group is also relatively
Mm,
tough, I must say, man, because Scotland are also another team that you
yeah.
cannot downplay. But what do you
Mm,
think our odds? Let me just share the squad for us against Scotland. Just please bear with me, man. Let me just quickly go there. Of course, we'll start off with us because we are the reigning champions.
mhm.
We are the favorites, to advance from this group as number one. Actually, do you think we're the favorites, or is it Ireland who are the favorites? Because they're world right, they're world number one. It's just okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you, yeah.
No, on the box number one now.
The last time I checked, it was the Irish dog. I promise, man. Let me just check
Because I think with that win, I
IRB.
think with that win against,
Uh,
yeah, I think with that
Let me
win
just check.
against New Zealand, we could have
Yeah,
gone top.
let's just check.
Oh, it's
I
still
know it's
Ireland.
still the Irish. Yeah, yeah. We second. We close second though. Close second. And France are third, and then New Zealand are fourth. But of course, rankings don't mean jack shit when it comes to this tournament. It
Yeah,
all goes down to
yeah,
which
that's all.
team is
Yeah.
on form. And I personally think we are peaking at the right time. Sia is back. Have you noticed when Sia is in our team, bro? We actually look more organized, bro. You know, I believe we look
Yeah,
way more
Sia,
organized, and
Sia, Sia
his
for
leadership.
me.
Yeah, mm, yeah, you can go.
Yeah, for me he, he's also a bit of a calming figure.
Yeah,
Sia doesn't look like a guy that panics a lot. I mean,
yeah,
Sia. I hear a lot of people saying, there's guys who speak sometimes make certain decisions over him as a squad because because he's a Dwayne Fabiola or whatever, or because he's um what is it, Eben
yeah, but
Etzebeth.
it's a bit. Yeah,
But I really don't buy into that because I think at the end of the day, the buck needs to stop at someone, and I think Sia has really grown into that role. Plus, I
yeah.
think he's one of those captains that leads from the front. He leads with his
Hmm.
performance. He's one of those heavy grafters. He reminds me of Michael Hooper, man. Michael Hooper is one of those.
Yeah, from
Yeah,
Australia. Yeah, yeah.
I mean that
Hmm.
guy. If yeah, yeah, if he, I mean, if he told you to pull up your pants because he's ready to go to war with you,
Hmm.
um, you'd feel it. And Sia is the epitome of that. He always leads from the front,
Yeah,
and he's a calming effect in the squad. I
yeah,
don't think he's faced a lot, because at
yeah,
the end of the day, I mean, whatever's happening is happening on the field of play. And I think, to a degree, the referees now really respect him. But
yeah.
let's not get into all that jazz that happened last time during the British and Irish
Yeah,
Lions tour. I think
yeah,
yeah, I think there was some stuff that was shown up there that I didn't like personally. But yeah, I mean, you're right. When Sia is in the squad,
mm,
it's a different beast. It's a different
mm,
beast for sure. But looking at the squad is amazing, man. The squad is amazing. What I like about the South African team as well is it's just like New Zealand now.
mm.
Whoever you bring in, there is no drop in quality. And when
In
you
the
look at
quality. Yeah,
you look at the wings, yeah, you look
yeah,
at the wings. I mean, Kenan Moody isn't even on that sheet. You look at the
yeah,
centers. I mean, of course, Lucanio Arm is injured. You try
yeah,
and look at fly half. Look at our injured. Look at the guy that was saying is an injured player, and look at the guy that we brought
Yes.
on to do the things. Mani Libok for me is,
Aish.
you know, I was having a serious discussion with some mates to say you don't win a cross-continent tournament as a fly half and be a crap fly half. I feel like Mani Libok should have been given more opportunities in the end of year tour when the Stormers won
Yeah.
that cross continental competition that we're in now. So
Yeah.
for me, as a fly half, he's really shown that he's really a cut above the rest. He kicks, he scores, he's got that X factor that when he's
Yeah.
got the ball, you don't know if it's left or it's right. Is it going to shimmy? And my former rugby coach used to say, when you hold the ball, always have it in two hands, just to make it look like a mirror. That way,
Yeah.
the opponent doesn't know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Unlike if you tuck it in. When you tuck the ball
Yeah.
in, we
Aish.
all know you're going for the bash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Manny Luke is that guy. I mean, if we, I don't even want to start with the forwards. I mean, South African forwards are just are ridiculously good, if I could put it that. They understand the game plan to the T. They work in these very good systematic pods. I don't know if for the guys watching, if you have that rugby eye, there are these double door passes that they do as well.
Yeah.
I loved as well to see our line out finally contesting things and winning
Mm.
those contests. Because if you talk about it, there's no team in world rugby that wants to scrum against South Africa. Whether it's the
No one.
first three, Balherba, Cherry Plum, and Malcolm Marx, or
Yeah.
Sibonga Banambi, um, um, um,
Thingy.
Trevor,
Ox. Trevor Nyakani. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
or
And it seems
Oxenche.
like Ox
Yeah.
and Ox in
I
chair. Yeah.
mean, yeah, those
Yeah.
guys mold the hell out of Wales. They mold the
Yep.
heck out of Argentina, mold
Yo.
the hell out of Australia. New Zealand
Yeah.
had a taste of it in the last game because
Yeah.
set pieces extremely important, and the Bok game plan also
Mm.
uh, thrives on a very good set piece because that way then you've got good go forward ball. And for a team
Yeah.
that is forward heavy and with tries that come from the wings as much as we do, that's when you see that
Yeah.
the game plan is it's not bad. It's quite good.
Yeah. You know, and fam, and you do make a
Mm.
valid point because when I look even here, bro, Moody is not even in he's not even included in the
Yeah, it's
squad,
not there.
bro. And I mean, Moody is against the All Blacks was incredible in my opinion, man. Like he's just ahead of his time, especially I like players who use their brain, dog. Like I rate that
Mm,
highly,
mm, mm,
more than you just being a physical specimen,
mm.
but if you can also use your brain, dog, and make the right decisions at the right time, and he's only 20 years old, bro. Like it's just incredible, man. And
It's
what I like about the
ridiculous,
box
man.
squad,
It's ridiculously
and
good.
it is, and what I also like, bro, the mixture of youth and experience. Our team, our players are all in the majority of our players are in their prime. I mean, a lot of them, this will be their second World Cup
Mm,
and could potentially be their second chip, should they, of course, win. But like I just like the mixture of youth and experience. I mean, we're not just throwing on youngsters who haven't, been in this position before, but we're actually mixing it up with, experience, so that of course
mm.
as time progresses, there will be guys who will retire. And I mean, if Cheslin retires and Moody comes into his place, you're not even concerned because Moody has the experience
Yeah,
and he's shown that he's ready. It's just unfortunately, hey man, we just a superstar. We just have superstars, bro, in all positions, especially outside backs. I mean, bruh, like we've got variety, bruh. Like like you've mentioned. I mean, who's this guy? Lucanio Arm being injured and not, of course, playing in this tournament is and look at his replacement, Jesse Creel. I mean, it's it's crazy the amount of
mm,
depth that we have as a country. And what I like is that we peaking at the right time, bro. More than anything, it's us peaking at the right time, and hopefully we can, cause problems, for these teams. And I mean, I'm just looking at the time now. We left with like 8 more minutes, bruh. I just want us to just quickly go through the groups. Um, let me just quickly share my screen for the
Mhm.
very last time. I mean, we've touched on SA, but do you think Ireland will also be a threat? Do you think they'll uh, beat us, or do you think we will beat them?
Yeah, the Irish.
It's hey, the Irish,
The
man.
Irish are a different kettle of fish.
They are.
The Irish are on top for a reason.
Yeah,
So they for me are the epitome of a New Zealand-esque kind of play, but with
yeah,
a lot of but with control, with a
yeah,
lot of I'm looking for the word. I'm just losing, but they have a lot of structure behind a lot of
yeah,
what they do, and they're not gun ho all the time, and they can strangle you opposition wise, they can strangle you territory wise, they can
yeah,
outmuscle you up front if they want, um, and they can run at you all day long. Because, yeah, I mean
yeah,
they're a well balanced team, and yeah, they could be up there as well with some of the tournament favorites, but
yeah.
I think versus the box, I
Mm,
would I would still fancy the box. I would still fancy the box. The box, just to because I'm quite weary of the time. The box probably have one of the best knockout rugby playing styles in the tournament.
mm.
Because for you to win a rugby tournament, make sure you play the game in the opposition's half, and make sure you stop them. That means
Yo,
their own half, a penalty is point,
yeah,
right? In their own half, so the sweeper needs to be quite agile. But the rush defense
yeah,
also means when they want to come back, it's normally dying by, second center, first center sometimes. It's dying there. So they don't, so other teams usually don't have a second phase or a third phase to play off because you've got a guy like and getting you a turnover.
yeah.
So the game plan itself, I think carry carry the box team.
Yeah, no, indeed, man. I also do think the game plan, man, like it could, and as well, experience, man, more than anything, man. Like for me, we've been there, we've done that at the at these tournaments, bro. So for me, that's why I'm not as afraid of even the Scottish. I do think we will not take anyone lightly. We will put away teams. I even think even with the Irish, it won't be even a close game, bro. I think we will expose them, in my opinion. That's just what I think. I'm that confident, bro, in our boys,
That's
my man.
great.
You know, and then let's just move on to the last two groups, bro, because we left with just a few more minutes. Um, Group C. Who do you think which two teams do you think will qualify for the next round in Group C?
Wales, Australia. I think that's a pretty clear cut group.
Yeah.
Wales and Australia should come out. Yeah, and
Mm.
maybe Fiji could spring a surprise. Fiji will probably
Yeah.
beat Georgia and Portugal,
Yeah.
and then because of what then happens between Fiji and Australia or Fiji and Wales,
Yeah.
then some Fiji recently beat England.
Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah,
did. They did beat England.
so
Yeah, they did.
anything's possible, man.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards Australia and Fiji, bro. I think
So
Australia and Fiji, yeah, will go to the next round. That's just My opinion, bro. I think Fiji will be the surprise package of the tournament. Yeah, and then of course the last group, um, Group D.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah, man. The Japs, man. You can never write the Japs off. Yeah, the
you
Japs. But I
gone,
think
you
England,
gone.
England should top that. Argentina,
Yeah,
Argentina play with a lot of passion, but
yeah.
at these tournaments, passion doesn't get you over the line, man. But you know what? Argentina, I think the last before this last tournament, I think the last tournament, three tournaments before that, they were always finishing in the top four.
Yeah,
I don't know. History says, but current four.
yeah.
Nah, I would say England, Japan.
England, Japan. Dang, bro. I for one say Argentina and England. And I think Argentina will top the group, in my opinion. I think Michael Checker will have something in his sleeve, bro.
Really?
I, yeah, I do
Wow.
think so, bro. I do think so. You don't play in the rugby championship and turn out to leap up in these tournaments. I mean, the rugby championship has given this team experience, especially at the highest level, bro. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hey, so Tinashe, bro, I think we should,
Mm.
call it because our country, Tina, we are a country that has this thing called load shedding in case there are any international viewers here. Um, but yeah, my man, thank you so much. I will keep in touch and most probably we'll have another episode because there is quite a
That's
lengthy
fine.
break between the first games and the second games. Much appreciated. Guys, please like, comment, share,
Mhm.
subscribe to the channel. This is Easy Sport, and we out. Peace.
Cheers. Man. Hola.
Cheers, my man.